Okay, so let's get right into this. We're looking at a story about what happens when the very people we rely on to care for others are themselves pushed right to the edge. It's a deep dive into caregiving, contracts, and a system that's just, well, it's at a breaking point. And really, this question is what Victor and Maryna's story is all about. You see, for years, they had dedicated their lives to caring for someone in need. But the system that was supposed to be supporting them, it was basically failing on every level. Just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. For 4 solid years, your entire life, your home, everything, revolves around providing intensive 24/7 care for one person. That was Victor and Maryna's reality. And while their dedication was rock solid, the money side of things, that was starting to get really scary. This table right here, it says it all, doesn't it? Look on the left, rent, food, utilities, the basics of life, all going up, up, up over those 4 years. Now look at the column on the right. The pay they got from their agency, Strive, it didn't budge, not 1 cent. The math just wasn't working anymore. And what made it even worse was this contract they were stuck in. It was completely one-sided. All of the responsibility fell on them, but when it came to asking for a fair wage or even just a cost of living adjustment, they had practically zero power. So Victor finally decided, enough is enough. He wasn't just going to sit back and take it. He decided to do things the right way. Follow the official channels, file a formal complaint, and trust that the system would actually listen. And he really did follow the process to the letter. First step, he filed a formal complaint with his agency, Strive. When that went nowhere, he took the next step and escalated it to Community Living British Columbia, that's CLBC, which is the government body that's supposed to oversee agencies like Strive. And here's where the classic runaround starts. Strive's response was basically, hey, don't look at us. They just pointed the finger straight up the chain of command, saying it was all on CLBC. But then, when CLBC responds, you guessed it. They pointed the finger right back down. They said it was a private issue between Victor and the agency and that they don't get involved. So he was stuck in this perfect bureaucratic loop where literally no one would take any responsibility. Hitting that wall, Victor started to look around. He was wondering, is it just us? Are we the only ones going through this? And what he discovered, well, it changed everything. He found these private online groups for other caregivers, and it was like opening a floodgate. He saw story after story that mirrored his own. The same one-sided contracts, the same frozen pay rates, the same not our problem responses from agencies. It suddenly became crystal clear. This wasn't just his problem. This was a system-wide failure. And here's a really crucial part of the story. It wasn't just the caregivers feeling the pressure. The person at the very heart of all this, the client they were caring for, he was unhappy too. See, their client needed constant, dedicated support. And he could feel the strain. He knew the service and support from the agency, from Strive, just wasn't good enough. And importantly, he knew it wasn't Victor and Maryna's fault. He was genuinely scared. He thought, if these financial problems force Victor and Maryna out, what's going to happen to me? They were his stability, his support system. So he was 100% behind them in their search for a better agency that would treat everyone with respect. So, with their client's full support, they felt empowered. The 3 of them started to look for a way out, a path forward that didn't involve Strive. And that search led them to a place called the Individualized Funding Resource Center, or IFRC. And looking at their website, it was like night and day compared to Strive. They talked about flexibility, respect. They even had a sample contract online that looked fair and balanced. It really felt like a breath of fresh air. That was it. The decision was made. The 3 of them, as a team, put together a formal request and sent it off to CLBC, asking to officially transfer from Strive to this new agency, IFRC. And it worked. CLBC actually approved it. The transfer was a go. The funding was going to be redirected from Strive to IFRC. This felt like a huge, huge deal. A major win. You can just imagine the relief they must have felt. It seemed like, for the first time in years, they had found a real partner, an agency that would actually listen to them, talk with them, and value the work they were doing. It was a moment of pure hope. So they found a new door, right? A path that seemed to lead to a much better place. But the question, The really big question was this: had they actually escaped the maze, or had they just walked into a different room?